Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much to everyone who's joined our final Grad Life webinar in 2020, which is crazy to say. We've been live for 1 year now, so it's been quite a crazy year, as you know, with so many things happening and most of our lives changed. So the purpose of today's event is to run a CV workshop, as you know, because it's hiring season. A lot of you are applying for jobs for 2021. So I thought it would be good to wrap up this year by giving you some useful insights and tips with our HR professional and expert, Willorna Brock. And she has a lot of experience, and in a minute she will give us an introduction about her background. So that's sort of our last gift to you for Christmas. As you know, we're already kind of in Christmas vibes. I'm wearing my Christmas jumper, and Willorna's got her Christmas tree earrings on as well. So for those of you who are not familiar with Grad Life is a community that we sort of created about a year ago to enable recent graduates and university students to come together to help us really alleviate that feeling of, I guess, might sound cheesy, but loneliness after we graduate, and we sort of lose that sense of community from university. And also connect with industry experts to find out what jobs are out there and learn about these jobs before we really get ourselves into a commitment. And how we do this is through workshops, webinars, and mentorship programs, which we have coming up soon. That's from 2021 onwards. So we'll be bringing mentors to help you guys sort of gain an insight into different industries. And also our podcast, which is coming up in 2021 as well. We have a lot of different channels which you can follow us on. And all of our events will be uploaded on the YouTube channel as well. So you can follow us on YouTube at Grad Life to see the previous session which we had was on careers employability in different sectors. And also today's CV workshop will also be uploaded on the YouTube channel. So far we're a team of 5, but we're expanding. So if you'd like to join us, if you'd like to help us organize events, organize webinars, please get in touch. But without further ado, I hand over to Willorna to introduce herself, and then we will get started. So the agenda for today is we'll do a quick poll at the beginning just to get to know where you guys come from, your background, and then Willorna will take us through her advice on CV, best practices, do's and don'ts, etc. And then we'll take some questions at the end for 5 to 10 minutes. But Willorna, I'll hand over to you.
Hi, Zara. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Willorna Brock. As Zara has mentioned, I'm a senior HR professional. I have an interest in supporting graduates because of my background in teaching. So I've worked in HR for about 10 years, and I taught about 10 years before that. So I've combined my experience of education and HR, because in HR we do quite a lot of recruitment. So I'm familiar with the process, from designing the job description to talking about the team structure, to talking to the managers about what type of candidates they are looking for. I also get to help managers to shortlist, and I also sit on interview panels as well. So I've got all of that experience. And of course, as a human myself, I've been through the hiring process. So I know what it's like sitting on the other side of the table, or sitting on the other side of the Zoom interview. So I bring in all of those skills to supporting people on their journey with job hunting. I've also got a book on job hunting, which I will talk about later on. So yeah, so thank you for having me tonight. We're just going to talk through some tips around what your CV should have, CV do's and don'ts, and hopefully that would give you some idea of what you should be doing to get yourself in front of those hiring managers. We're in quite a competitive market at the moment. It's candidate heavy, as one recruiter said to me recently. So you really need to make sure that your CV is right and is going to get you through the door.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for that introduction. To begin with, as we mentioned, we're going to do a quick poll just to get to know you guys and understand your background, if you graduated already or not, and which sector you're trying to get a job in. So I'll launch the poll now. It's got 5 questions, so we'll give you guys 20 seconds to answer, and then this will help us sort of tailor some of the talk tracks and the topics. So I've launched the poll now, so please enter your answers. It's multiple choice, and it should be a quick survey, just so we know where everyone is at, which stage of your career or which stage of your university life you're at the moment. Great, I can see the results coming in now. Perfect. So give you 5 more seconds and we will end the poll. And it's all anonymous, so don't worry guys, your names will not be appearing anywhere here. Okay, great, that's the majority of the votes. So I'll end the poll now and you can share the results. Okay. Excellent. So can you guys, Willorna, can you see the results?
Yeah, I could see the results. I could see that the majority of people have actually graduated already.
Yeah.
And most people graduated this year. So it's kind of 60% of people graduated this year. 40% graduated in 2019. Engineering seems to be the top industry that everyone's looking for.
I'm not surprised, coming from engineering background myself, and we have Payal, who's one of our committee members for engineering as well, so I'm not surprised there.
Oh wow, and I could see that people have applied for like between 10 and 50 jobs. Wow, that's quite a lot. And interviews, some people have managed to secure 1 to 5 interviews. So 80% of people have secured some interviews in the last 12 months. I guess following on from a CV workshop, you might need to do one on interview techniques, because the CV is the first step, but to really get that job is the interview. Definitely.
Only one person has applied for more than 100 jobs, so well done.
Oh wow, that's what I call tenacity, because that person really has that sort of can-do spirit and not giving up, keep going.
Exactly. Okay, excellent. So I'll end the poll now and I'll hand over to you to go through your slides whenever you're ready, Willorna.
Okay, so let's get started. We'll start right from the start. Okay. So the first thing I always say, you will never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I say that about CVs, because your CV is what is going to actually get you through that interview. Your CV is the one thing that is so important. And yes, you won't get a second chance at it. So it has to nail it. It has to get you at the interviewer's side. So I'm not sure how much people know this, but recruiters, hiring managers spend less than 10 seconds looking at a CV. As a hiring manager myself, when you've got hundreds of CVs, you're busy, in a busy job, you don't have time to go through looking at so many CVs. So you want stuff that's the eye-catching. So at the top of the CV, what it's saying, has it got, what I'm looking for? Has it got those keywords? Does it look good? The formatting, I'm going to talk about all of those things. But that first impression, I cannot stress how important a CV is, because that means you're halfway there, really. It means that they like you, you actually have a chance. The next step is the interview. So yes, glad we're doing a CV workshop, because that is your first impression. So today I'm just going to go through the overview. I'm going to talk about your CV. I guess I won't dwell on that too much. We all know what a CV is. What makes a good CV? What should be there and what shouldn't be there? I'll talk about your skills and your knowledge, because that will be included in your CV. How do you stand out in the crowd? How do you get your CV through the door? I've also got a case study example. This is it's a case study where I'm going to show you the job description. I'm going to show you the CV that was one of the CVs that was rejected, and then the CV that was actually shortlisted. So that shows you how you should tailor the CV to the job. And then there's also the Q&A at the end. And also you can contact me, because I do career coaching, I do CV writing. And if you'd like some further assistance, I can help you. So the first thing, we all know that a CV captures all the information about yourself, your profile, your education, your professional work experience, any sort of additional information, but additional information that is relevant to the job that you're applying for. So all of these captures your competencies. So you hear about, when we talk about interviews, you hear about competency-based questions. These are questions where they're trying to find out how suitable you are for that role, where you have to give examples of times you have done certain things. Now, those competencies for the hiring manager to want to probe some more, to want to see you at an interview stage, they want to see that some indication that you have some of those competencies already on your CV. And those competencies are your skills, your soft skills, which are things like leadership skills, teamwork, and your hard skills, which are the technical skills. So if people are looking at engineering, for example, what engineering skills do you have? Have you got a degree in it, for example, your knowledge? So that is what would be on your CV, your personal information, the profile, your education. For recent graduates, education really should be at the top, because that way they can see that you're a recent grad, for example. And then your professional, I mean, I put professional work experience, career history, depends on style, depends on industry, but you could either put professional experience, you could put work experience, or you could put career history. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. And then the next slide is about your skills and knowledge, okay? So for example, as a graduate, you would argue that, right, I don't have experience in this sector. How am I going to make it through the door? Even people who are at university, perhaps you're applying for an internship, you might think you don't have experience, but you do. Think about everything that you did at school. Think about everything that you're doing at university. Think about what you're learning from your course. What skills are you learning from your course? Think about any sort of part-time work you've done in the past. Think about any sort of voluntary work you've done in the past. Your extracurricular activities. I mentioned soft skills earlier on. Employers are looking for soft skills. Increasingly, they are looking for soft skills, because even though we talk about AI, we talk about automation, we talk about the computer skills, computers still cannot replace human beings. So the soft skills, things like teamwork, things like emotional intelligence, things like leadership skills, things like empathy, all of those things are soft skills which are really going to come in handy for your future career. So all of that you would have learned from your university and your school experience. So it's for you to be able to identify these transferable skills so that you can put them on your CV. And the first piece of work that you need to do before you even start to apply for a job is you need to identify the job that you want, the target job, I call it. You can do some research, you could look online, there are lots of career profiles or job profiles about certain industries. Then map your own skills and experience out. I call it your personal SWOT analysis. I'm not sure how familiar people are with SWOT. SWOT is basically your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So you basically your own personal career SWOT, where you're mapping out your strengths, your weaknesses, what you need to work on to be able to be successful for that job that you're going for. What are the gaps? Some sort of gap analysis. This is where I am now. These are the skills and knowledge I have. These are the skills and knowledge for that job that I want. These are the gaps, and this is how I'm going to get there. Prepare yourself. So don't just start applying for lots and lots of jobs without having done your homework, without having done your homework about the job. Do you even have what it takes? Do you know what it means to do that job? There's some real good websites that I could share at the end, where you could go on and you can look at the job profiles for particular roles, particular industries, and it tells you how you enter it, what type of qualifications you need. Do your homework, do all of those things, and from that you're able to identify your transferable skills, and then the work can start on your CV. So what's included in a CV? The content is usually your personal information, a profile, your key skills and achievements, your experience, career history, your education qualifications, and any additional information. So for example, we'll talk about engineering. I'm calling on engineering again because it seems like majority of people are applying for engineering jobs. Now, if you're at university and you're applying for a grad role in engineering, but you happen to have taken part in the science club or you did some research, all of that is relevant information that you can add to your CV to show the hiring manager that you are so keen in this topic, in this field, that you did some extra work, you participated in some research work, you did a project on such and such. All of that is relevant. But if, for example, it was something non-related to engineering and you put it under additional information, then it's not relevant. Then you're just filling up your CV and they don't really care about those things. I mean, those things you can talk about at an interview where they probably want to get to know the other side of you. At the end of the interview, as a sort of warm up at the interview, you could talk about additional stuff. But at your CV stage, they really want to see how much you match the requirements of the job. Now, in terms of laying out your CV, the structure and the layout is very, very important. My advice is to keep things simple. I know there are lots of sort of creative looking CVs out there, but what I would advise is you can be creative, but be creative according to the sector that you're applying to work in. If you're applying to work for a law firm or a very conservative type of industry, there's no need to be all jazzy with your CV. If you're applying for creative, marketing, social media, tech startup, where they like innovation, where they like peculiar type people, they want everyone, to be sort of different, then you could structure your CV in that way. But if you're not even sure about what the employer is like, what their culture is like, then keep it simple. Structure your layout correctly, stick to 2 or 3 pages max. I would imagine for a graduate, 3 pages is for people who've got lots of work experience, so they can't help it stretching the extra page. But for graduate, I would say 2 pages max. And then, of course, you have to proofread. Typos are a no-no. There's no excuse now. There's the spell check. There's an editor on Microsoft Office. There's even Grammarly, which is a platform online that you could just cut and paste your text into, and it will show you where you've gone wrong and edit it for you. Use the positive action words about yourself, like things like I delivered, I managed, I spearheaded, I created, I successfully did this. Tailor the CV to the role. Again, keep it simple and definitely be honest, because if you're not honest, you'll get caught out at the interview stage, because you'll get there and they'll ask you about questions and you don't know. And of course, you need to know your CV, okay? Because as part of the interview process, the first question is usually talk me through your CV and your experience. So if you've put things in your CV that you're not familiar with or you don't remember, that's not going to look very good. Now, the don'ts, what you mustn't do. Don't make it too long. Don't make it too wordy. People are too busy. No one has time to read chapter and verse. I cannot stress enough how important it is to tailor it to the job you're applying for. Spelling mistakes. These things seem really small, but they put people off, like inconsistent font, a bad layout, irrelevant information. You don't need to put your date of birth. Then a picture, I'll come on to that. References will be provided on request. It doesn't need to be there because at the end of the day, most employers are going to take references anyway. That's quite dated. So Zara and I had a conversation around the picture piece. I would not put my picture on personally. It depends on you if you feel comfortable putting your picture on. Most people are on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. So if I apply for a role, I'm sure they're going to check me out on LinkedIn. They'll see who I am. So personally, I would not put a picture. I say it's subjective as well, because it is the world we live in that some people still have inherent biases. So I would just be careful about, I mean, it depends on how you look, it depends on what you're wearing. They might not like the color of your lipstick that day. So I would avoid putting my picture on there. But if you feel comfortable and that's what you want to do, by all means, do that.
Would you put a link to the LinkedIn profile?
Yes. Yeah. I've got the link to the LinkedIn profile on my CV. That will be at the top where your name and address is.
Okay, great.
And then there's one thing I've put on there as well in terms of your email address. I guess I'm not teaching people to suck eggs. I'm sure some people know this already, but I have seen people send email addresses that are not very professional on their CV. So you wouldn't put things like footyfan@hotmail.com or cool chick. This is what you use for your fun sort of email, right? I mean, I have my professional email address for jobs is on first name, surname @gmail.com. I have a funny Yahoo address. I use that for my fun stuff. That's where all my shopping and all those kind of stuff go. But my professional email address is basically my name, my initial @gmail.com or AOL.com. So I'd advise you, if you're using a very informal email address, to change it. Okay.
Just one quick question before you move on. So there's someone is asking if you're already filling the application form and you're entering your address and your contact telephone number there. Do you still need to include that in the CV as well?
Yeah. So what I noticed is what usually happens is that a lot of company on their portal, you would upload your CV. That's just basically how the applicant tracking system, the recruitment portal works. So you upload your CV and it will pre-populate the information already, and you still have to kind of, input your address and things as well. I know it's a bit annoying, but that's just basically how some of them are set up. Okay. But definitely you need those details on your CV, because what will happen is that the information will come through the system, but the recruiter or the hiring manager want to have your CV in front of them when they're calling you up to talk through that initial stage or at the interview. So it's definitely helpful to have your contact details so that they can pick up their phone and call you, when you're shortlisted.
Okay, great, thank you.
I've also mentioned something, I know we're talking about CV, but I've also mentioned something about your online profile. I think this is really important. We all know that we're living in this age of social media and people can Google you and everything. So when you're applying for a job, be careful what your online profile looks like. What are you telling people? It's basically your audience. So whatever views you have, political views, any sort of things that you follow online, how do you want to be seen by your prospective employer? I call it your brand. What is your brand? Right now, everyone that has an online profile essentially has their own personal brand. And recruiters do Google people up, do check people out on LinkedIn and Instagram, etc., etc. And be careful, because depending on the sector that you're applying to work in, they might be quite conservative. So for example, if you're applying to work with the government, the civil service, and you have some extremist views, it's not going to go down well. So I'm not going to curtail freedom of speech or tell you not to be able to express yourself. We live in a democracy, people can say what they like, but just be wary of your online profile. So, just moving on to how to stand out in the crowd. So I talked about your little homework that you would do earlier on in terms of knowing about your strengths, your weaknesses, doing your own personal inventory. Once you've done that now, it's going to help you very much with your job search and putting your CV together, because you're going to have that job advert and job description in front of you. You're going to look at your skills and knowledge in relation to that job advert. You're going to watch out for keywords, and then you're going to match those skills, knowledge, and experience to the role and make sure that they come out on the CV. So that essentially is how you're going to stand out in the crowd. So you have to be self-aware, list your skills, list your knowledge, have it on a spreadsheet, have it on a Word document, watch out for the keywords, and then match those to your CV. Tailor it to the, in fact, what I advise is to have one CV that has all your skills, knowledge, and experience for everything. And then when you have to apply for a job, that's going to help you. You just filter out what's not necessary for that job, or you add things in, remove things. That's the best way to go about job hunting. So I've got a case study here. I've called it a tale of two CVs. So I'm going to show you the job advertisement and what they're asking for in this role. Then I'm going to show you one of the CVs that went in the reject pile and talk you through why it went in the reject pile. And then I'll show you the one that's a good example. So I'm going to have to share my screen. I'll stop sharing for a sec so that I can find the Word documents that I need.
That's based on real examples, right?
Yeah. I've obviously changed names and things like that for confidentiality.
That'd be really useful to see actual examples and see.
Well, that's not the one. Sorry.
If you guys have questions, you can start putting them through the Q&A function.
Please ask questions. So I've got that one. Well, it's still not showing what I wanted to show. Oh dear. Right. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to share.
If you select the share screen button, there's a few different options.
I know. One sec. Sorry about this.
Sorry.
This is what happens with. Right. That's.
Worst case scenario, you can screenshot the CVs and put them in your PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. One sec. Right, can you see it now? So basically, this is the job description. It's for a entry-level role in a marketing and comms team. So the job title is Marketing and Communications Executive. It's got the main area of focus, which is, shall I make it bigger? Can people see that okay? So the main area of focus is administrative support to the team, managing the database, communication and social media. The key areas of responsibilities are updating client records, inputting information to the in-house database to facilitate accurate reporting and working with colleagues to ensure effective data management, providing administrative and communication support for the production of online and print content, including an online blog, magazine, and email newsletter, assist in coordinating activities at UK and international events, including high-profile talks, contribute to the content creation on our social media channels and reporting on levels of engagement, supporting the research activities to generate more leads. And then the education there and qualifications required: degree educated, experience of working in marketing, sales, customer-orientated office environment, high level of proven confidence of Microsoft Office, and CRM is customer relationship management. So anyone that deals with clients has some kind of customer relationship or client relationship management software. It's a database. The ability to manage multiple tasks over time, flexibility, good comm skills, and helpful manner when dealing with inquiries either online, face-to-face, etc. Confidence to do online and written communications yourself, teamwork. So I mentioned, so if you are looking at job description, the first thing you're doing is you're trying to absorb, what is this job entail? What am I going to be doing in this job? What are going to be my key areas of responsibility? So this bit is my responsibility. This is my knowledge that I'm going to need. Education and qualifications, these are my soft and my hard skills. So my soft skills are all of these here: time management, organization skills, teamwork, confidence to write online, comms, communication skills, Microsoft Office and CRM, marketing, all of the skills and knowledge. So I'm expecting, so as a line manager, I want the CV to tell me that this person can do this job. This person has the education there. This person can demonstrate that they've got good communication skills. They can show that they can work, they've worked in this environment, or they have experience of this kind of work. They know how to use a database, etc., etc. So the CV needs to jump at me to say that. And being really, and so basically finding a job, putting your CV together is like a job in itself. It's not something that you do half-heartedly. The job description is there for you. It's telling you everything you need to do about the job. So your job is to make sure that your CV reflects this so that you can get shortlisted. So I'm going to show you an example. Sorry, any questions? Any questions so far?
Just time check. We've got about 5 minutes left before we go to Q&A.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that now and quickly show you the good CV example. Sorry, the bad CV example.
Whilst you are looking for that, do you think, because I've seen sometimes people, they read the job description and they sort of list out communication skills, teamwork skills. Do you think just listing out those skills is enough, or do you have to demonstrate it in your experience?
You could put that at the top as your soft skills and hard skills, but then further on, you need to demonstrate how you met them through the sort of career history. So now this is a CV that came in for that job, bearing in mind that I said that the job was for marketing and comms executive. This person sent a CV with all that long word. I'm a qualified teacher, etc., etc. I was at University of Southampton. I got a BA in music. I was a class teacher, etc., etc. Now tell me and reflect where it tells me that this person is fit for my role. Now, being a teacher, and I've been a teacher myself, I know that you could do a job as a marketing and comms executive, because as a teacher, you have so many skills that you have that are transferable. But where has this person really shown me that they can do my job? I'm not interested in knowing that they're a qualified teacher. What I wanted to see was perhaps in the profile, qualified teacher with experience of marketing and communications, etc., etc. That would have caught my eye. I'm not going to say, oh, just because she's a teacher, she's not good, because I know that as a qualified teacher, she's got some transferable skills, but she didn't put that on there. So that CV went in the reject pile. So the CV I'm going to show, the good example one, the next one. You could see this one.
Yeah.
So see how clean that is. She's got name. You don't even need your full address. You could put Sheffield, United Kingdom, London, United Kingdom, Cheam, Surrey, United Kingdom. Then you've got your telephone number, you've got your CV there, CV, your email address. And so after the email address, you could put your LinkedIn profile and see how clean that is. Imagine I'm looking through hundreds of CVs and I see this, it's gonna grab my eye because it's so clean, the layout is so simple. Profile says, highly motivated graduate with excellent knowledge of marketing, sales, and customer service. Remember, the job asked for that. Experience of communication channels and utilization of social media for engagement. The job description said that. Able to use my own initiative and develop innovative methods to drive customer loyalty. Remember that part of the job description was about research and looking at methods of engagement. Sound organizational and interpersonal skills. Results-driven, always prepared to go the extra mile to achieve a successful outcome. Education is right there, which is telling me that this person is a recent graduate. They've already done some work with Sky as a comms assistant. And they've talked about CRM, it's in there. So that bit there, for example, the applicant tracking system, the keywords are in there. So the applicant tracking system will pick up CRM. It will pick up this, it will pick up Zendesk. This was when the person did some internship work. This was the person as a student working at Waitrose. Customer service and cashiering duties. So already they do know how to deal with clients. They do know about customer service. So basically, I know we're kind of running out of time. I hope that just gives you an example. See how clean that CV is compared to the one before. Yeah. I'll just go back to my screen, my slides.
We've got a few questions coming up as well. So should we delete unrelated internships depending on the job description?
Depends on how unrelated it is. So I think all internships are good because at least it shows that you've got work experience. So I wouldn't delete internship experience. I would try and find a way that that internship experience matches the job. Or I could talk about what I learned from that internship experience. Yeah. No experience is wasted when it comes to internship because at least it shows the employer that even though you're a graduate, you've got some work experience. So I think internships are quite valuable.
Definitely. If you guys have any other questions, please send them through now. There's one more. How is your approach to column CVs?
Column CVs. Sometimes the applicant tracking system doesn't like complicated formatting.
Okay.
It gets bunged up or it messes it up. So again, I would keep it simple.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think we should do the sort of a closing poll as well before you guys jump off, just so we can see how things are. But Willorna, is there anything else you wanted to go through before we go to the closing poll?
Sure. So, well, thank you for everyone to listening, and I hope that was helpful. I know it's just a whistle-stop tour, but I do have something to share. I normally do, as I mentioned earlier on, I do a CV writing service as part of my offering. And as it's Christmas and as it's 2020, instead of, I've got a special offer on it. It's £99 instead of £150. So how it works is that you'll send me your current CV and some background information about yourself, the type of job that you're looking for. We have a call and I talk you through what you need to do to correct it, to amend it, and then you update it yourself. If you want further assistance for me to update it and everything, we can have a discussion. But yeah, it's kind of a good way of just reviewing your CV and making sure that you're on the right track. Yeah. And I am very, very thorough. I mean, I know that online people can upload their CV and get, help, but I am so passionate about what I do that I will take my time and go through stuff with people.
Yeah, definitely. And Willorna, obviously, she is a HR and recruitment professional with roughly 20 years of experience herself. So she is as close as it gets to the recruitment stage of the process.
Yeah, and failing that, my book is on Amazon as well. It's $9.99 on Amazon, and just follow me on social media. I'm not always very active because I'm so busy, but I have lots of hints and tips in the book.
Yeah. Perfect. Great. Thank you so much for that. Guys, one last poll before we jump off the call. This one is only 2 questions. So I'd really appreciate if you could help answer these 2 quick questions for us. And we will conclude the webinar. So I've just shared the poll now. So give you 10-15 seconds. And as you know, this is our last webinar for 2020, but we definitely have a lot of plans for you going into 2021 as well. So we're just using this as I guess a guide to know where you guys want to see the next webinar, because obviously the last webinar we had was around different career options that are available to recent grads. And following from that, we understood that a lot of you are applying for jobs and need CV advice. So that's sort of where the idea for this webinar came. So, okay, excellent. So I've got the results in. I think it's quite clear. So that's very beneficial for us. So thank you very much for that. So as I mentioned, thank you so much to everyone who's joined the call today with us. Just before we go, now it might be a bit too early, but Merry Christmas already. We've got the Christmas vibes going on, and I know I'm not going to see you guys before we go. So I hope you have a wonderful Christmas holiday, and I hope if you're applying for jobs, you can secure them. If you need further help with your job application, if you need help with interview, if you need help with assessment centers, I know it's all virtual now, so it can be a lot more difficult. So please feel free to reach out to myself or reach out to Willorna, and we're always happy to help. As you know, Grads Life is a community for you guys to lean back on. And if there is a particular sector you want to find out more about, I work within the IT sector myself, but on our panel we have a lot of people who work in the pharmaceutical and the oil and gas industry, so we can connect you to those guys as well. But with that, then, thank you so much to everyone joining, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas holidays.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck and have
Bye-bye.
a wonderful Christmas and all the best for 2021.
Cheers. Bye. Thanks, Willorna. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.